Before I get into this commentary, and it's probably not going to be much of me talking, it's really going to be the words of the person you see on the screen and his wife. I have to give a shout out to Twin Sister in the Discord for sending me this story. Now, usually I don't like to reach back on stories like far back because I like to stay pretty current. But I wish I had learned about this incident and the story as a whole in which you are about to hear. Because the way that this person that you see in this picture, him is Brandon Ingram, got done extremely dirty. Probably one of the most dirtiest employer to employee stories you will ever hear. Was absolutely disgusting. And the toll that it took on not only him, but on his family, because he has a wife and 3 kids, I think 3 daughters, and a young couple at that, for this to have happened to them is absolutely heartbreaking. I'm not even gonna lie. When I listened to this the first time, and it's crazy now because I'm gonna have to listen to it a second time just so y'all can hear the commentary come from them. It's definitely going to send you through a ball of emotions. Mad, sad, angry. It's probably going to, I'm not even going to lie, it's probably going to make you tear up if you've never even heard this audio. But the audio that I'm going to play for you is 8.5 minutes long. That's why I said most of the commentary is going to come from them. And I want you to hear about what Frito-Lay, the company that this man worked for, did to him after he got electrocuted at their company while working, and what they were doing after the fact. It's absolutely going to blow your mind. If you've never heard this audio before, and I will post the link down below because it's actually attached to a video itself, and you'll be able to watch it if you can actually stomach hearing it another time. Like I tell you, it's going to be a hard listen. It really is. You might end up having to find yourself walking away from whatever device it is that you're listening to in order to deal with what you're hearing. Because I almost had to. But I had to hear the whole thing. But like I said, now I have to hear it again just so y'all can hear it for yourselves. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to go ahead and let this audio play.
So I got the job at Frito-Lay in January of 2011. Prior to Frito-Lay, I was in the United States Navy.
Leaving the service, he just needed to matter. He needed to belong and have a purpose. We both thought he found that in Frito-Lay. And so we kind of centered our life around it.
I worked hard. I bust my butt every day, in and out. Shit, my wife was going to divorce me because she didn't even think I was at work for real.
No, I did not believe my husband just spent 20 hours at work. No one would believe that. He's not a doctor. It's chips. It's chips and dip.
I went on a stretch one time of like 26 days in a row. Was using the doctor, or you press the button and it automatically does what it's supposed to do. I got electrocuted. I was taken to the ER, but the emergency room they took me to was 45 minutes away. We passed 4 hospitals on the way to the hospital they wanted to take me to. And the reason that is because they signed a contract with a certain hospital and a certain network.
From the very next day after the accident, my husband was never the same. He was working really hard to even just get up on to the side of the bed. Usually he's like hops out of bed and he hurries up, puts his clothes on, and he shoves food down his throat and he's out the door, in 30 minutes. He was used to it. He was trained to do that in the service.
When I say I was healthy as an ox, I was healthy as an ox.
We just didn't have any answers. They said he should have been fine, but he wasn't.
I didn't get any time off after the incident. I had to call off the next day as a sick day. I told you I was in pain. I told you it hurts when I walk. And it was like, okay, are you going to be here tomorrow? I was a site lead, and I know what that entails. You're a leadership of the whole warehouse. So if you have to fill in, you have to fill in. I asked for some type of relief, period, because I was still obligated to work, like picking cases and unloading trucks or rotating product on a forklift. I asked for a chair that I could sit in that would make me more comfortable while I'm doing my office work. They denied it. You're either 100% or you can't work. It just felt like they was just trying to push me out. Eventually I got an MRI by my primary doctor, and he showed that I had 2 herniated discs in my back. And he was like, you shouldn't be doing anything. They could only fix it with surgery.
And my husband still had to work this whole entire time.
They had to remove 2 of the discs in my neck because they were bulging into my spinal cord. I wasn't getting enough fluid to my brain. If I didn't have the surgery, the doctor said any small fall or accident or something like that, and I would have been paralyzed from the neck down or dead. I still have to have surgery on my lower lumbar spine.
From the moment that he couldn't work anymore and needed short-term disability, Frito-Lay abandoned us.
I had to file for short-term disability and then long-term disability. Got approved for long-term disability, but that was months later. So no income coming in.
That's a picture of the car. We were driving.
They require you to go to the doctor so many times, and the doctor has to say that you're in this condition over and over and over. But guess what? You don't have any insurance anymore through PepsiCo/Frito-Lay because they cut you off. I had to pay for that out of pocket too. Didn't have the money to do that. So guess what? I borrowed money or used credit cards or whatever I could. I even took money out my kids' piggy bank.
We had to take from our children to live.
And the doctor knew what was going on, so he was like, look, just pay half of what you owe every visit, and we'll just take care of the rest later. I never wanted to have a lawsuit. It's not me. But I did ask for help, and I wasn't getting it.
Frito-Lay, Pepsi, Sedgwick, whoever has people following my family. They are stalking us.
Just to find something to be like, oh, he's okay.
Recording my kids playing in the yard, recording me doing yard work. They follow me in traffic, on the highway, on streets. They follow me when I gave birth to my baby. They follow me to my daughter's school. I took my daughter out of school and decided to homeschool because I don't know if we're safe. I don't know how many people they've given our address and name and information to just to prove my husband wrong. They've done it for years.
Why are you fighting so hard to say that I'm not hurt instead of just look at the paperwork, look at the medical stuff, look at everything I've been through? You would think that I'm a bad employee the way that everything has went. I've never done anything wrong to this company or even with this company. I have numerous awards to show that I'm not a person that you just throw away. I knew the sales side, I knew the operation side. I mean, hell, you could have just let me be a lead and just manage instead of physically working.
Billion-dollar corporations like Pepsi, which owns Frito-Lay, they know this is happening to people, and they do nothing about it. My husband shouldn't have to fight for 5 years over something that took less than 5 minutes to impact our entire life. He pushed a button at work, a button he can't avoid pushing. He has to push it. It's his job.
For a company that talks about diversity and culture and a family-oriented business, family don't just throw you out because you get injured.
The company makes over $200 billion a year, okay? It's chips. But my husband is worth $0 to them because he's no longer able to push those chips.
You are a number. You're a piece of property. I bust my butt for them. Blood, sweat, tears, sacrifices, holidays, birthdays. I miss so much family things because they make you feel like if you don't do what they say, they will let you go.
I don't even know where to go from here. Honestly, all the life goals and marriage goals and family goals that we had are gone. And I just have to figure out how to survive. And my goal and hopes and dreams now is for my husband to get back healthy and still be alive with us in the future. He dodged bullets in the city of St. Louis growing up. He dodged gangs. He stayed out of all of that. He went to war, he dodged bullets and bombs, and came back to me. And now he's been electrocuted at work. We don't know what's going to happen from day to day. My husband stops breathing at night in his sleep. I have to wake him up at night to make sure he keeps breathing. I have to help with my children who don't understand they can't jump and play with daddy.
I mean, I just went from a very fit guy to a guy who is disabled and can barely just handle regular life stuff. I'm 36. I should be able to play with my kids in the yard. I just want my life back.
And that's the audio right there. It's almost like, what could I follow up with that? What could I possibly say that hasn't already been said in that clip right there of this husband and his wife who got dealt a very bad hand after something happening that was out of his control? And we hear a lot of horror stories when it comes to factory level style jobs every single day. I mean, immense horror stories. But this one right here hits a little bit different, because this is not just someone wanting to take off work because they're tired. This is not someone who wants to take off work because they're lazy. This is not someone who wants to take off of work because they don't like the job anymore. This is someone who had no other choice but to take off because they almost died. Like, they were almost about to check out on life. It's a miracle that he is even still alive after being electrocuted, because it's a lot of people who do not survive from even the smallest electrocution. So he's very lucky. But the thing about being electrocuted and you live, your life really never is the same as it once was before that jolt hit your body. And we're seeing this right here. Like, this video this audio that you listen to that's attached to a video, this is a screenshot from that video, and it was posted in July of last year. Keep in mind, like his wife said, they've been battling for 5 years with this. This is not something that just happened within the last year or 2 years. It happened maybe now over 5 years ago. This is just one of the most disturbing stories I've had to literally bring to my channel. And it's so sad and it's so heartbreaking that it's happening to this family. He said he's only 36. He said he can't do the things that he once did with his children anymore. He has 3 small children. 3. And he can't do the physical activities that he once did anymore. It's just not feasible. But the 2 things that disturbed me, one that made me, sad, and the one that disturbed me, the one that made me sad was when he broke down and said that when his insurance ran out, that he and his wife had to dip into their children's savings to pay for medical care. I'm not gonna lie, that part right there almost broke me. The way that it broke them, because no parent wants to do that. No parent wants to dip into their children's stash. That's, because, that's something that kids, that is leading, kids to learn how to properly save. That's like the early starts of, starting savings. But they had to do it because, with job insurance, the job insurance only lasts when you're at the job and when you're currently employed. But once it runs out, it's out. Now, I don't know if there was a life insurance attached or not, but still, at the end of the day, it's still messed up. Now, there is a GoFundMe, and I'm gonna link it down below. Their goal is $200,000. As of today, they're currently at $156,000 plus. So they still have some more ways to go to reach their goal, and hopefully this video can spread a little bit further, and the link as well to the GoFundMe, and hopefully we can help propel them to get to that goal. Because I don't know or anyone who really spoke about this story. I didn't know the story existed until today, and the story went out in July of last year. The part that pissed me off, though, and I'm sure it pissed the rest of you off who are watching this, is the part where him and his Brandon and his wife, and her name is Melissa, found out that Frito-Lay and PepsiCo and all who are attached were literally stalking their family. Like, if y'all watched the video, because y'all couldn't see it, but I saw it. They literally were driving around in probably vans, unmarked vans, recording damn near their every move. It was almost like they were under surveillance. Like, they were watching Brandon as he was walking into the doctor's offices with a cane just to make sure that he's not lying about being injured. You saw imagery of Melissa with their children, you know, taking them to the bus stop. You know, she said she had to take them out of school and homeschool them because she was scared for their lives that something might happen to them because they knew they were being stalked. She says, who knows that they got a hold of our address? Who knows what the people may know where they live? Like, you could actually see their house. Like, literally, they had gathered a lot of video and surveillance of them actually stalking them just to be sure that he was not lying about the medical issues that he was going through. And I have a feeling that a lot of companies do that whenever a lawsuit comes against them, because that's when they said the stalking began. When Brandon said when they took the lawsuit against the company, that's when the stalking began, because they needed something to combat against that. So if they go to court, then they can say this is not entirely true. They were embellishing, and here's the real. Like, they did it. Like I said, when you watch the video, like, if you choose to do so, you can go ahead and watch it. Also, something is said, because there was some little captions that were put in there that y'all couldn't see, and they didn't mention it. They said that Brandon, because of this, he ended up contracting liver disease, and he got 2 herniated discs from this. And you heard right there where he said he could have died if he even fell, if he didn't have that surgery. That he could have died, or at the least been paralyzed from the neck down if he had fell, if he didn't get that surgery. And he still, from the time of this video being made, I don't know what the update is now, that he had to get another surgery on his lower spine. That's all from just one electric shock. People think, oh, electrocution, it does. Like I said, it will take a toll on your body. I couldn't speak on it because I've never been electrocuted, and hope to God that I don't have to go through that. But as you can see, it did not just take a toll on him, it took a toll on his entire family. Everything, like his wife was saying, that they wanted to do at one point, they can no longer do because of what happened. And because of of what the company did, or should I say did not do, it hindered them even more. Now, twin sister also sent me a link to some statements that Frito-Lay made. They made multiple statements, as a matter of fact, following this. And I'm not even going to read the statement. I already read them, but I'm not going to read them on here because it's a bunch of BS at the end of the day. They try to give the most politically correct statements, but it's not going to change the fact of what that company did to this family. And like his wife said, she's sure that it's more cases like this happening out there that are probably just unreported. I'm glad that this family had the strength to come out and tell this story, because it needed to be told. There's a lot of companies out here that treat their workers like they are slaves. Amazon definitely comes to mind. That's the main one right there, where they say it feels like they treat their employees like they're slaves. You know, with them harsh working conditions and the lack of good pay for the stuff that they have to go through. That's why I said, don't hand me no application to apply for nobody's Amazon. But yeah, this is, like I said, this family got dealt a very bad hand from an incident that happened on their watch, in their factory, under their brand, under their name. And this is the part that people don't know about, because, you know, when you think of like Frito-Lay and Pepsi and everything, you only think a lot of the consumer, because that's who their base is the consumer. You don't know what goes on behind the scenes and everything like that. I hope that this family is successful with their lawsuit, because they said that the lawsuit got taken out, much later. And then the hospital. They said instead of taking him to a nearby hospital that was very close by, they had to go to a hospital that was about 45 minutes away because the network, because of the rapport or the network that the company had with this particular hospital. That would have raised a red flag for me. Like, this guy was just electrocuted and almost died, and you want to take him 45 minutes away when you could have just took him to a hospital that was much, much closer. Like I said, there's so much wrong with this story. Like, this story really has no, like, it's no positivity or any type of great vibes that comes from this story. It is all bad. It is a very dark story. But hopefully there is a very, I guess you can say, light at the end of the tunnel moment that can come from this. But his life is forever changed. Only 36. Only 36. He's only 3 years, well, about almost 3 years older than me. And I know that's like, oh, and don't get me started on the part where the wife was saying, had like sometimes, at night, sometimes he'll stop breathing and, she has to wake up, just like revive him or scared that he won't wake up, Wow. And see, this is where those vows, those marriage vows come into play. For better or worse, for richer or poor, for sickness and in health. All of those vows have come into play in this one incident, because it says for sickness and health, the sickness part, for better or for worse, they're in their worst states right now. For richer or poor, they are not rich. And I feel like I'm missing one of those vows, but that's linked in theirs too. But those three definitely come to mind. So I have to definitely give a huge shout out to his wife, Melissa, because that's her name, for being a very strong component to her husband. Because she could have been one of the ones that said, I can't deal with this, I need to leave. But they also have 3 kids. So that means that she had to step in and step up where her husband was not able to anymore. And hopefully they will get out of this. It's going to be simply amazing. It's going to be all worth it. And see, another reason I didn't know about this story did not really make it to the airways. I didn't see not one of these major big time celebrities or anything like that. I didn't see them on any talk shows or none of that. Like, this story really stayed low key. Like I said, if it wasn't for Twin Sister posting this in the Discord, I would have never known this story existed. But I'm glad that I know now. I'm going to post the link to the video. If you want to watch it, I completely understand if you don't want to, because it's going to be hard to watch after just listening to the audio. I will post it though. And I will post the link to the GoFundMe into the description, and you can hit that donate button so they can reach their goal, so we can help them reach their goal. Because this story is still being talked about. I'm literally on the page in the channel on YouTube that posted the video. It's called More Perfect Union. It was posted 7 months ago. It has 1.3 million views and over 20,000 comments. And the most recent comment was posted 2 minutes ago at the time of me recording this video. 2 minutes. So it's still making its rounds. We need to continue to make its rounds. And as for Frito-Lay, listen, I can't remember the last time I bought a bag of chips. So to say for me that I'm boycotting Frito-Lay, that's small work for me. That's slight work. But yeah. And the thing is, a lot of the times when it comes to these jobs, this is the one of the major cons to jobs, especially those factory level jobs. You're looking at it in the flesh. But I'm gonna go ahead and end my commentary right here. I am definitely pulling for the Ingram family to really pull through this. Because the only place they can at this point now, the only place they can go now is up, because they've been pushed down for far too long. And the thing is, we only got 8.5 minutes of a testimony over the span of a 5-year nightmare. Who knows what else they could have said that we did not hear. And honestly, in this 8.5 minutes, that's all we needed to hear. To know that one, Frito-Lay is trash. And so is PepsiCo, because like the wife said, PepsiCo owns Frito-Lay. Pepsi owns a lot of stuff. I said Pepsi is like the Disney of consumer foods. What don't they own besides Coca-Cola? But it was another point, but I forgot. But yeah, I'm pulling for this family. I want to see them pull out a huge win, one of the biggest wins that they can pull out this year. And it's crazy that their story is just getting out, and last year and the incident itself happened way before that. Y'all let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you are new. Make sure you hit that bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live.